During the break, my buddy brought up a really interesting point to me, and I wanted to share it with you guys on air because it proves that I was right about something a while ago that I actually forgot that I was 100% right on, and it's about Trump. He actually quotes Trump here, and by the way, I'm holding the phone so far away from the mic because if I don't, I'm going to get all those freakish sounds. But here's Trump's quote. Politicians have been very weak and very ineffective over the last quite long period of time. And my friend rightly points out here, so many of his quotes just sound like straight up satire. That's honestly almost like Austin Powers, where he says, I'd like to allow myself to introduce myself. It's just such a low-level way of communicating that Trump has. And again, we called it. There was an actual study. There's this technology that exists where you can determine what grade level people speak at if you take, portions of their speeches or things that they've said and you put it into this machine. And we found out that Donald Trump actually speaks at a third grade level. Now, everybody came out and they were mocking him at the time. This was in the middle of the campaign. Everybody's, this is stupid. Now, of course, we mocked it as well. In fact, I'm mocking it a little bit right now. But I also gave you a warning. And that warning was, this isn't a strike against him. This is something that's going to work in his favor. Why? Because, look, man, the way he speaks, even though it's absolutely comical and it appears to be like a literal parody, it's like satire, when people speak in short, punchy sentences, it pierces through. It pierces through. It gets directly into your brain where you go, oh, I get what he's saying. So when Trump ends sentences with bad, sad, people go, oh, they get what he's saying. Oh, he emotes through his sentences and through the way he speaks, and then people go, oh, I see exactly what he's saying. Now, flip the script, a politician who speaks in like this really long, drawn-out, flowery language that ranks high in terms of the grade level you're speaking at, people listen to that, and honestly, I don't know if this is specific to our time in history, but dude, this is the soundbite era. We got Twitter. If you speak in more than 150 characters, everybody's attention's like, you're looking all over the place. If you watch something and it takes a long time for the plot to build up, or you're reading a book and it takes a long time to get to a part that you consider meaty, you're just gonna, you kind of wander away and you go watch a Vine video, which lasts, 6 seconds, 8 seconds, whatever the fuck it is. People want to get that instant gratification. And when you have somebody who comes out and he says, the politicians, they're corrupt, they're puppets, and it's bad, sad. Politicians have been very weak, very ineffective for quite a long period of time. It's a mess. It's a tremendous mess. He repeats himself over and over. He uses short, punchy sentences. It pierces through, and people go, yep, that's right. You're right about that. And it wasn't a strike against him. It was something that helped him. And I was one of very, very few people who, I mocked him along with everybody else, but then I also gave you the warning and said, this is going to help him. And turns out I was 100% right. But I do have a slightly different takeaway from this, because it's clear they're not actually going based off of content. So it's not like this is some sort of a description of the intellectual level of what they're saying. This is just how they say it. And I know this sounds ridiculous, but if the Democrats really want to do better, and if the Democrats really want to win and get a lot of people on their side, their substance should be the highest intellectual level imaginable, but how they craft their sentences should be at like a 4th grade level. I think Donald Trump is probably right in that sweet spot. Now, don't get me wrong, it's also how he says it, and to some extent what he's saying when he talks against lobbyists and stuff, but there are only political upsides to speaking in those short bursts.